Well, now that we did a horror list of the last decade, I figured I'd do just my favorite movies of the last decade. I'm not going to include any horror movies in this list, so you will not see any repeaters from my top horror movies of the last decade. I do have a trusty list here because I had to go through and write everything down because there's no way I could remember everything. So I'm going to list some movies that came out that year. I'm going to give a runner-up and my favorite movie of that year, just like I did in horror. So we're going to start off in 2010. 2010 gave us Shutter Island, Inception, Toy Story 3, The Social Network, The Book of Eli, Kick-Ass, The Town, Hot Tub Time Machine, Red, Centurion, and True Grit. Now, while I like all these movies I just listed, I like, and there's some from that year that I didn't list that I still like, but we can't stand here all day and talk about every movie that came out that year. I would say my runner-up from that year is The Town. Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner. I love that movie. We lived up in Massachusetts when they filmed that movie, and it was a big hit for Ben Affleck. It's just a really good crime thriller, and yeah, that's my runner-up for that year. My number one movie that year has to go to Christopher Nolan's Inception, just because the creativity and the originality of it all. I love that movie. It blew me away the first time I saw it, and every time I watch it, I find something new in it. I just really like that movie. So Inception's my number one from 2010. God, I can't believe that came out in 2010. Doesn't seem like it was that long ago. On to 2011, J.J. Abrams gave us Super 8, which I really, really like. Transformers Dark of the Moon that year. Captain America, The First Avenger. Horrible Bosses, which is hilarious. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Moneyball with Brad Pitt. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Hall Pass, which I like. Drive, Warrior, Paul, Goon, and Bridesmaids. Now, obviously, I recommend all these movies. I like Dark of the Moon, Transformers Dark of the Moon. Full disclosure, I like the first Transformers and the third one. Those are my favorites. But my runner-up that year would have to go to Drive with Ryan Gosling. I really like that movie. But it's not my favorite movie of the year. And my favorite movie of the year is Super 8. I really like that movie. The nostalgia gets me every time I watch it. It reminds me of my small town growing up. I just really like that movie. So Super 8 is my favorite movie of 2011. Let's get on to 2012. 2012, we saw the closing chapter of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. It was The Dark Knight Rises. We also got the first Avengers movie, which everybody's excited about, for obvious reasons. Jack Reacher, Skyfall, the best Bond movie, actually probably my favorite Bond movie ever. Skyfall and Casino Royale are my favorite probably Bond movies of all time. Django Unchained, Dredd, which is a great movie with Carl Urban. It's a shame it didn't do better at the box office, but Dredd's awesome. If you haven't seen it, check it out. 21 Jump Street, which is hilarious. Ted, Argo, and End of Watch. My runner-up that year would go to Django Unchained. I really love that movie. I just watched it back a couple months ago. I just rewatched it for the first time in a while. That movie just clicks for me. It's really good, and if you're a Quentin Tarantino fan, you've probably seen it. It's a really, really, really good movie. But my number one movie has to go to The Avengers. It was just a great popcorn movie, and I really like it. And the rewatchability on it is very high. You can rewatch it anytime and have fun with it. And yeah, so the Avengers Avengers in 2012. So let's go on to 2013 here. Iron Man 3. Shane Black gave us Iron Man 3. We have Man of Steel by Zack Snyder, which I love that movie. Prisoners, The Wolf of Wall Street, Lone Survivor, and Pain and Gain. I didn't go too long in 2013. There's more I could have put on there, but I'll try to keep this a little shorter if I can. My runner-up would go to Lone Survivor. I really like that movie, obviously. That's why it's my runner-up. I think it's a really good, effective war film based on Marcus Luttrell's life and what happened to him in Afghanistan. If you haven't seen it, check it out. If you like war movies, it's a really good one. And but my number one that year has to go to The Wolf of Wall Street. Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese do it again with that movie. That movie's fantastic. Yes, it's almost 3 hours long, but it's just a really great movie, and I love it. So that's my number one from 2013. 2014, we got Fury by David Ayer, Interstellar, Christopher Nolan's next film, American Sniper, Big Hero 6, Gone Girl, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is, I think The Winter Soldier is better than the first Captain America, and so do a lot of people. But The Equalizer, John Wick, Godzilla, Chef with Jon Favreau, and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. All really good movies. If you've never seen any of them, I highly recommend them all. My runner-up that year would go to Gone Girl. David Fincher, you can't go wrong. Ben Affleck's fabulous in that movie. Everybody's fabulous in that movie. And I loved it. My wife and I both loved it when we saw it in the theaters, and we watch it here and there. We have it on our iTunes account. But my number one movie, surprisingly, goes to Fury with Brad Pitt, David Ayer's war film. I just really like that movie. What can I say? And I like the interaction between the leads. And I think Shia LaBeouf gives a really good performance. Everybody does. Michael Pena, John Berthal gives a great performance. I just think it's a really good war film. If you've never seen it, check it out. All right, now we're up to 2015. 2015 gave us Jurassic World, Mad Max Fury Road, Star Wars The Force Awakens, Avengers Age of Ultron, which isn't my favorite Avengers movie, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, The Martian, Sicario, Creed, and Inside Out. My runner-up that year would go to Star Wars The Force Awakens. Just because of rewatchability, I like that film. I think J.J. Abrams did a good job bringing Star Wars back to the masses. So I like The Force Awakens. I know there's a lot of fan service in it, but I really like that film. But my number one, I have to go to Mad Max Fury Road. When I saw it in the theaters, I was blown away by what George Miller put on screen. It's so insane, but in all the best ways. You could almost smell the gasoline in the theater. I heard other people describe it. It's true. When I left the theater, I'm like, I can smell burning gas, man. It's just a high energy, adrenaline charged thrill ride. And masterful, the whole movie. George Miller knocked that out of the park. So you can't go wrong with Mad Max Fury Road. That's my number one from 2015. On to 2016, we finally got Deadpool in that year. Ryan Reynolds finally got his R-rated Deadpool movie, and it's glorious, as we all know. Batman vs. Superman, which I really like. I actually like the director's cut more, the 3-hour cut, but I like that movie a lot. Zootopia. Civil War, Captain America Civil War, which was basically Avengers 2.5, but that's a really good movie. Star Wars Rogue One, I think that's a really good Star Wars film. Bad Moms, which is a funny comedy. The Accountant with Ben Affleck, I like that movie a lot. The Nice Guys, Shane Black was back with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, and I really like that movie. If you've never seen it, check it out. 13 Hours, Deepwater Horizon, Bloodfather, that's a movie not talked about too much. It's a Mel Gibson movie. It's like a lower budgeted. William H. Macy's in the movie too. If you've never seen it, check it out though. I think it's streamed on Netflix. You can find it. It's not that hard to find. Patriots Day with Mark Wahlberg, which is really well done, and Peter Berg. Sully, and Hacksaw Ridge, which Mel Gibson's first directorial movie in a while. Hacksaw Ridge is awesome though. My runner-up that year is Deadpool. It's such a fun movie, and Ryan Reynolds was born to play that character. We've all seen it. It's awesome, and yeah, Deadpool's my runner-up. But my number one has to go to Hacksaw Ridge. I love that movie. Andrew Garfield's fantastic in the movie. Vince Vaughn's great. Everybody's great in that movie, and Mel Gibson directs the shit out of that movie. It's fantastic, and if you've never seen it, give it a check it out. It's great. All right, on to 2017. We had a lot of big movies in 2017. We had Wonder Woman, Dunkirk, Baby Driver, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Atomic Blonde, American Made, Kong Skull Island, Brawl in Cell Block 99, which I absolutely love, Goon, Last of the Enforcers, and John Wick Part 2. I love all these movies, but my runner-up would go to Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan's war film, which is fantastic. But my number one, and this is going to surprise people, but I love this movie, Craig S. Soller's film after Bone Tomahawk, Brawl in Cell Block 99. Vince Vaughn should have been nominated for an Academy Award that year. He gives probably his best performance of his career, and it's just glorious. I guess it's a pretty long movie, and it takes its time, but it's awesome in all the best ways. If you've never seen it, I recommend checking it out. Just make sure you have about 2 hours and 40 minutes to watch it. But it's fantastic. So on to 2018. We're coming on the home stretch here right now. Avengers Infinity War, Mission Impossible Fallout, Deadpool 2, which isn't quite as good as Deadpool 1, but still a really cool Deadpool movie. Aquaman, Bumblebee, which kind of made up for the last two Michael Bay Transformers films because Bumblebee's fantastic. Game Night, which is hilarious with Jason Bateman. Creed 2, which is a really good sequel to Creed. 12 Strong, and Tag. My runner-up for that year would be Mission Impossible Fallout. What a fantastic action movie. And Tom Cruise does it again, just keeps upping the ante with every movie, and it's glorious. But my number one movie that year is Avengers Infinity War. I like that movie. I love that and Endgame. I think it's a great two-parter to send out the Avengers on. So Avengers Infinity War. I really like that movie. So on to 2019, which I've already kind of done my best movies of the year, so this is going to be no surprise. But I'll list some movies that just came out this past year. Avengers Endgame, obviously. Joker, Toy Story 4, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, John Wick 3, and The Irishman. I didn't feel like going through the rest of them. We know, we just relived this through last year, so we know what's going on. My runner-up would be Avengers Endgame, and my number one would be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino. I love that movie. As I said, in my top 10. It's fun doing these, looking back over the last decade. It's like a time capsule, just seeing what was released. It's hard to believe some of these movies came out that long ago. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago these movies came out. But we had a lot of great movies in the last decade. A lot of fun movies, some definitely some highlights. And it's good. It was cool looking back through all the lists of every year. It was interesting. I gotta be honest, I forgot some of them came out those years. But it was fun to look back. But that's my list for top movies of the last decade. Like I said, I didn't include any horror films. If you want to see those, I did a top 10, my favorite horror films of the last decade. You can check that one out. But yeah, that's it for me. I hope you like this list. Tell me what your favorite movies of the last decade were. We all have our different opinions, so yours are going to be different than mine most likely, but that's mine. And that's it for me. If you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and come back and see me real soon. Thanks. Bye.